Good afternoon everyone. Myself Puneet Gupta, lecturer in GPCG Petyala. I am here to give the lecture on arrays. Array is a data type that is used in the data structure language. Before starts the array, I just want to give the brief introduction about the data type. Now the C programming language, which has the ability to divide the data into the different types, we can divide the data into the various types in the C language. These types of the variable determine the what kind of value it may take on. These variables, these types tell which kind of data you have to take. The various data types in C language are simple data type, structured data type and user defined data type. In the simple data type, these are the data type that are given by the compiler. These are the integer values. Integer value consists of the numbers only, the whole numbers. Real number values that contains the decimal point numbers. Void, it contains the null value and the characters. The various characters in the C language are established, are declared in this data type. Now the structured data type. Structured data type is the combinations of simple data type into the different forms. If we combine the simple data types, simple data type in a single name is known as a structured data type. Here is the array and the strings come. After that, there is a user defined data type. These data types are defined by the user according to their needs. These data types are enum, structures and the unions. Now we start with the array data type. Array is a group of homogeneous data item. Here the homogeneous means similar data item. When we group together the similar data item, the name given to that data type is known as a array. An array is used to perform the operations on the collection of similar data types. If we perform the operation on similar data items, then we use the term array. The array is used to store the information. It is defined in the same way as a ordinary variable. We can define as array according as a ordinary variable. The number of elements that have to store are also specified in the array. We have to specify the number of elements, the number of variables that are to stored in the array. The array is a combination of group of simple data type. As I say earlier, it is a group of simple data type, and data type is also specified with the array. We have to specify that data type with the array. Now the example of array. If I want to declare an array in C language, then I have to write int a6. Now this int is the data type of the array. Here int show that array is of the integer data type, and a is the name of the array that I have to given. It holds the 6 different values that start from 0 and goes up to 5, and it is a limitation, it is a condition for the C. The array start from 0 and goes up to the 1 less than the whole value. Each have different integer values in it. Each of the element have the different values in each. Now the characteristics of the array. There are the large number of characteristics, large number of properties of an array. All the data elements are stored in the continuous memory location. That means one after the another. If I have to declare an array, we have to given the value to the array. They store the values in the location one after the another. They store in a continuous memory location. Now in this example, I show an array A which have the 6 values 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and its values are 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 and 60. It starts from 200 and goes up to 210. By this, they can store in a continuous memory location. All the elements share the same name. The second property of an is all the elements share the same name, but they have a different index value. All the elements in the array, they have a same name. For the example, if we have an array of A, then the name of array is A only, but the index value for each and every element is different. Here the index value starts from 0 and goes up to the 5. A0 store the value 10. Here A1 stores the value 20, A2 stores the value 30, A3 stores the value 40, A4 stores the value 50 and A5 stores the value 60. Each index value have a different variable for the array. Need for the array. Why we have a need to have a array with us? The array are very useful where many elements of same data type need to stored and process. if there is a large number of elements, large number of values we have to store, but they have a similar data type, at that time there is a the array is very useful for us. For example, to enter the marks of 50 students of the class, if I have to enter the marks of 50 students in a class, we need 50 variables to store their marks. We need 50 different variables to store them. It is very difficult to manage that 50 variables at the same time. It makes the program complex. Even we know we have to make a documentation for that, the number of the variables, the name of the variables we have to learn. To overcome this problem, we use the array. To overcome this kind of problem, we use the array. One variable is used to declare an array and store the data of all the 50 students into a single name. We store all the 50 students under a single name with a different index values. Here the example is given, if I have to store the marks of 50 students, thus you have to declare a array whose name is marks, and its data type is integer, and it contains 50 value, 50 index value. Now the various types of array. The array consists of different types, the linear array and the non-linear array. Linear array consists of one dimensional array, and the non-linear array consists of two-dimensional array and the multi-dimensional array. There are two types of arrays. First one is linear and other one is non-linear. Linear is again further divided into the one-dimensional array, and non-linear is divided into two-dimensional and multi-dimensional. Now discuss these types. First one is one-dimensional array. It is a linear array and it stores the similar data type by using a single name. It is a one-dimensional array in which we have just one dimension. The syntax for this array is data type. First we have to declare the data type, then the array name, and then the size of the array. After that there is a semicolon. Data type specify the data type of the array, array name specify the name of the array, and the size tell the number of elements in the array. Now the length of the array. If I have to calculate the length of the array, the number of elements in an array is called a length or the size of the array. It is calculated by the simple formula. That formula consists of length equal to ub minus lb plus 1. Here ub means upper bound and lb means lower bound. The valid range for subscript for element is 0 to 1 less than the given dimension. In the C language, the lower bound is always 0 and the upper bound is the number of the elements you have given during the declaration. So, the number comes with this range. Now, to how to initialize an array. There are two different methods to initialize the array. First one is a static initialization and the dynamic initialization. Now discuss them. To initialize the one-dimensional array by using a static initialization, we have the simple syntax, that is data type array name size equal to in the bracket value 1, value 2, and it goes up to value n, the number of value you want to given. Here value 1 is the first value in the array, value 2 is the second value in the array. In the sequence we have to store these values in a sequence. It maintains the sequence in the array. For example, integer a5 is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Here 5 elements are stored in a5, 1 is stored in a0, 2 is stored in a1, 3 is stored in a2, 4 is stored in a4, 4 and 5 is stored in a4. These are the 5 values which have to store in a5. Now the dynamic initialization. Dynamic initialization means we initialize the array during the running time. When we initialize the array at the run time, we use the dynamic initialization term. In this we can declare the element, we can initialize the element in two different methods. First one without giving the size and second one using the malloc function. The first one is without giving the size. For this we have to declare, we have a syntax, that is data type array name, then the brackets. The brackets here we show the empty brackets because we initialize in the runtime. Here it contains the various value 1, value 2 and it goes up to value n. Again the value 1 shows the value of the first array element and value 2 shows the value of the second array element. Here the example for that is, if I have to declare, we have to initialize the array, then integer a, there is a bracket and is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and after there is a semicolon. Semicolon is must after the declaration of array. Here A array whose number is not defined here. The number of elements you declared here are automatically assigned to the A array. Second method is using a malloc function. The malloc function, we can declare, there is a malloc function which is stored in studio.h header file, and we have to declare it in the alloc.h header file, and we have to use that function to allocate the memory at the runtime. Here the syntax for it is A is equal to int star, star is a pointer variable here, then the malloc, n is the number of the elements input by the user, then there is a multiple sign, size of is a operator, is a keyword that is used to calculate the size of the data type, then there is a integer, after that there is a semicolon. We have to calculate the A variable, we have to calculate the A array size by using this function. For this we have to remember this syntax. First we have to declare the name of the array, name of the data type, then the malloc function, the number of the elements and the size of variable. Now representation of one dimensional array. If I want to represent the one dimensional array in the continuous memory location in the computer, we have to need a contiguous memory in the computer. It need sorry, it needs a memory location together at a place to store the array. The compiler have to keep only the track of the address of the first array element. If we are tracking the first array element, that array that track should be remain in the compiler. For example, to store the value of the array having the 10 elements, that is int A10, it has a various value 19, 12, 15, 76, 13, 44, 85, 92, 24 and the 65. These all values are stored in the A array of the containing the 10 different elements. The memory representation for this are, we start the A0 from 8000 memory location and it goes up to the 8018 memory location. As the integer data type holds the 2 memory location in the memory. Here the 19 is stored at the 8000 memory location and 12 is stored at the 8002 location, and it goes up to the 8018. So the last element is stored at the last element 65 is stored at the 8080 memory location. Now the two-dimensional array. The two-dimensional array is represent as a matrix. We have to represent a matrix in the form of the array that are known as a two-dimensional array. The array consists of m rows and n columns. It consists of number of element where the m rows and n columns are defined. The total number of elements are given by m into n. We multiply the rows and the columns with rows and column with each other, then we get the total elements. The number of rows and the column, we multiply the number of rows and the column, we get the total number of elements there. The syntax for two-dimensional array is data type, array name, row size and the column size. If we have a data type which tells the type of the array, which type of data we have to declare in the array, then we have to define the array name. The name you can given in any way, it just tells the name of the array. Then you have to define the row size. Firstly we have to define the row size, and second one we have to define the column size. After that it ends with a semicolon. This is a example, this is a way in a two-dimensional array stored in the memory location. If it contains the 9 rows and the 4 columns, the various location for the array are stored in this. Here the total 9 rows are formed and the 4 columns are given. First element is stored at the 00 position, second element is stored at the 01 position, and it goes up to the last element stored at the 8th position, that is 8th row and the 3rd column. Now the representation of two-dimensional array in the memory. If I have to represent a two-dimensional array into the memory, there are two different approaches we have to use. First one is row major order and second one is a column major order. I have to store these arrays into the memory location, into the different memory location, then there are two different methodologies, two different approaches to store the array into the memory. First rule should be same, it should be continuous in the memory. As the array, for that the array should store in a continuous memory location. Beside that, there is a two different approaches for that. First one is a row major order and second one is a column major order. Now we discuss these both of them. In this matrix, in the row major order, in this matrix, elements are stored in row wise form. We store the first row first and then store the second row and so on till the all elements are completed. We store the first row first, then second row, then again all the rows. And the second one is a column major order. In this matrix, elements are stored in the column wise form. First we store the first column, then followed the elements of the second column and so on till all the elements are completed, all the elements are stored in the memory. Now show it by the example. For example, I have an array whose name is A and its data type is integer. The size of their rows and the column is 3. There is a 3 rows and 3 columns here. Now elements are stored is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There 1, 2, 3 is a row, 4, 5, 6 is also a row and 7, 8, 9 is also a row. In the row major order, I store it in the form 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I store the first row first, then second row and the third row. I store this in the form of rows. But in the case of column major order, I store it 1, 4, 7, 2, 5, 8 and 3, 6, 9. I first store the first column, then the second column and then the third column. These are the two different approaches used by the two-dimensional array. Now the initialization of two-dimensional array. If I want to initialize a two-dimensional array, then the syntax for that is data type, array name, size 1, size 2 and here the value 1 1, value 1 2, 1 3. After that their value 2 1, 2 2, 2 3. Here the first row gives the first row of the array and the second gives the second row of the array. 1 1, 1 2, 1 3 represent the first row and 2 1, 2 2, 2 3 represent the second row. The example, the initialization example for two-dimensional array is given here. First one is integer, it is an array of integer data type whose name is A. It contains 2 rows and the 3 columns. The 2 rows, first one is start from 1 and other one is start from 4 and the 3 columns 1, 2 and 3, these are the 3 columns for the array. The total number of elements is given by 2 into 3, that is 6. The total number of elements are the 6 elements here. Now the multi-dimensional array. Multi-dimensional array are defined for large set of data, that is set of tables. If I have to define the tables in the C language, if I want to define a table into the programming, then we use a multi-dimensional array. The syntax for multi-dimensional array is data type, array name, size 1, size 2 and then there is a size n. The example for that is int is a data type of the array, A is the name of the array, 10 is the number of elements, number of sets for that, 20 is the number of rows, 30 is the number of columns in it. After that it is end with a semicolon. Now the initialization of multi-dimensional array. If I want to initialize a multi-dimensional array in the C language, the syntax for that, the example for that is int A 2, 3, 4, this is the number of the element we want to store here, 2 is the sets, 3 is the number of rows and 4 is the number of the columns. Here in bracket is starts, for that we have to first store the number of columns 1, 2, 3 and 4, then there is a comma 5, 6, 7, 8, 4, 6, 5, 7, these are the number of elements that we store in the first set. It contains 4 columns and 3 rows. After completing the first set, we define the second step in the similar way, that is it contains the element 5, 7, 3, 4, 4, 6, 9, 8, 8, 3, 5, 9. These are the elements stored in the second set. The complete set is enclosed by the bracket and it ends with the semicolon. Now the example, now the program for entering the data into the one-dimensional array. If I want to enter the data into the one-dimensional array, for the syntax for the program for that is, firstly we here we define the header file, that is hash include studio.h, then the main function void main, then brackets, Firstly, we declare the array here. It's a int a5. A is the name of the array and 5 is the number of the element we want to store into the array, and I is the integer variable that we have used in the program. Then is a printf, enter the number of elements here. 4, I is equal to 0, I is equal to 0, I less than 5 and I plus plus. If I start the loop here, that start from the 0 and goes up to the 4, it 1 less than the defined number here. Then I print the line printf, enter a %d element backslash n plus I plus 1. Here we define, here we print the number of element in the array. Then I use a scanf command to enter the element into the array from the user. For this I use here a %d. %d is used for the integer variable. Int is a integer variable, and then I use AND operator here. AI is the number of variables we want to store. It go for A0, A1, A2 and goes up to the last element. Now the output for this one dimensional array is, enter the elements, it gives the enter the elements, enter the A1 element, then the user enter 12 and enter the second element, then it user enter 65, it goes enter the fifth element 98. In this way we can enter the 5 element into the array whose name is A. Now entering the data into the 2-dimensional array, if I want to enter the elements into the 2-dimensional array, then I have to define, we have to declare the 2-dimensional array there. It includes studio.h, it includes studio.h variable, and after that we have to declare the header file here. After that we have to use the void main function. Here int a23, 23 is a number of elements, the array where 2-dimensional array where we declare here. Then the ij are the variable of integer data type that I have to define here. Then I use a multi-dimensional for looping. In this loop I just start the I loop and then there is a j loop. For I, for the first element of row, all the columns have to enter. After that the second element of the row, all the columns have to enter. The syntax for that is, after that I printf, enter a %d %t element, then backslash n I plus 1 j plus 1. After that I can enter the elements a I j. I just enter the element from the user. Here I represent the number of rows and j represent the number of columns. The entering data for the 2-dimensional array is, the output for this program is, enter the A11 element, it gives the first element of the row, that is 10, then second element, that is 13, the first third, this is the first row and third column element, that is a 48. After that 21, 22, 23, last element is 23, that is second row and the third column, that is a 54. The total 6 element is entered into the array. Now to enter the data into the 3-dimensional array, also known as a multi-dimensional array. For this I use the header file studio.h, after that void main. Here I declare the array of 3-dimensional, whose name is A. It contains the 3, 3, 4 value. It contains 3 rows, 3 columns and 3 sets, 3 rows and 4 columns. It can we just start the 4 loops in a multi-dimensional way. Here firstly we declare the 3 sets, then we declare the 3 rows and after that we declare the 4 column. We enter total element 3 into 3 and into 4. It 36 elements are entered into the array of the multi-dimensional array. The number of element we scan here is total number 36 element, and the various elements are 12, 65, 84, 87, 32 and it goes to 67, 48. Now displaying the 1-dimensional array. If I want to declare the 1-dimensional array, firstly I include studio.h, then I include conio.h. These are the 2 header files which I used. Then I use the void main function. Here I declare the I array and after that I initialize a array of A size and given the 5 different elements, 5 different values in it. Printf, the elements are And after that I just print the message here, that is a printf, the number of elements are. For this I just start the for loop that starts from the 0 and goes up to the 5th location. Now the command for that is printf a %d, element is %d. Here we give the value of the elements. The elements are A1 element is 12, the 12 is coming from this 12, 65, 45, 32 and 98. These elements are shown up here. A1 have the values is 12, A2 has a value 65, then A3 has a value 45, A4 has a value 32 and A5 has a value 98. These all are values are displayed by the one dimensional array. Now displaying the two dimensional array, if I want to display the values from two dimensional array, for the program for that is hash include studio.h void main, after that there is a brackets, here I declare, here I initialize a two dimensional array. The values are assigned to the two dimensional array. The total values there are assigned is 2 into 3, that are 6 values, 10, 13, 48, 97, 24 and 54. These are the value assigned to the array A. Integer I, j are the variables that I have to use in the program. I declare that variables here. I start the for loop for the first for loop for the rows and the second for loop for the columns. I just declare the first I for the rows and j for the columns of the array. Now just print the values for I and j. Here I just print the value for I and j. It gives the value, it print the value on the screen that are initialized by the program, that is 10, 13, 48, 97, 24 and the 54. It just displays these value to the screen when we when we show that program to the user. It gives the output A11 element is 10, A12 element is 13, A13 element is 48, A21, here the first row is completed, it contains the 3 different columns 1, 2 and the 3. After that the second row is begin, it contains the first element 97, after that it contains the second element 24 and the third element is 54. The total 6 elements are displayed by the array, two dimensional array. Now displaying 3-dimensional array value. Firstly I just program to display 3-dimensional array. Firstly I just shows firstly I write the header file there, that is hash include studio.h. it is a header file used in the C language. After that there is a main function, we have to declare the main function. After that int I, j, k, these are the variables that are used in this program. I is used for the number of sets, j is used for the number of the columns, number of the rows, and k is used for the number of the columns. After that I initialize the array A, whose data type is integer and whose contain the value 2 as a set, 3 as a row and 4 as a column. The total number of elements are 24 elements, which we have to declare here. We just declare these 24 elements by initialization of the array, 3-dimensional array. Here 12 is the first element and the 48 is the last element of the array. After that I just print these elements on the screen by using the 3 different for loop. First one for the I, that is for the set, second one is for the j, that is for the row, and third one is a k, for that is for the column. After that I print this values by using a I, j, k. This give the various elements into the array. The elements of the array is shown by this figure. The first element is a 12, here the first element is shown the 12, then 65, 87 and 32. It contains 4 sets, 4 columns, it contains 4 columns, that is 12, 65, 87 and 32. These 4 columns are given by here. After that it contains 3 different rows, 12, 76 and 91. These 3 rows are given by this dimensional array, and the 2 sets, first set and the second one set. These sets are displayed, these sets are shown by this diagram. Here we declare the 2 sets, 3 columns, 3 rows and 4 columns. These are shown by this example. This is shown by this example. It contains 4 columns. It contains 4 different columns. That columns start from 12, 65, 87 and 32. Then there is a 3 rows, 12, 76 and 91, and it contains 2 different sets. two similar sets are given by me in this example. These two sets are given by this 3-dimensional array. Beside this 3-dimensional array, we have various multi-dimensional array. We can use it up to limit you want to store. We can store in number of different number of dimensions of array here. Now, the special type of array is here, that is a string data type. It is a data type given by the C programming language to us. It is a special data type. It is a group of, it is an array of